I sat across from my dead father at Christmas dinner, and he didn't even recognize me. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. My name's Rachel. I'm 34 years old, and up until 6 months ago, I thought my father had been dead for 28 years. That's what my mom told me. That's what I believed my entire life. And then I walked into my fiance's parents' house on Christmas Eve, and there he was, sitting at the table, laughing, passing the mashed potatoes like he belonged there. I need to tell you this story because I still don't know if I'm the victim here or if I've been the villain this whole time without even knowing it. Okay, let me back up. I grew up in a small town outside Columbus, Ohio. Just me and my mom. My whole childhood, she told me the same story over and over again. My father was a monster. He was abusive, violent. She said he used to hit her, scream at her, terrify her. And when I was 3 years old, he left, just disappeared one night. A few years later, she told me he died. Car accident, she said, somewhere out west. She didn't go to the funeral, said she couldn't, said it was too painful, said she wanted to protect me from all of it. And I believed her. Why wouldn't I? She was my mom. She was the one who raised me, who worked double shifts at the diner, who scraped together enough money to get me through school. She was my hero, my whole world. I didn't have any memories of him. Not really, just little flashes, a man's voice, the smell of cigarette smoke, a blue flannel shirt, but nothing concrete, nothing I could hold on to. So I filled in the blanks with what she told me. I made him into this shadow figure, this ghost who haunted our past but couldn't hurt us anymore. And I moved on. I built a life. I went to college, got a decent job in marketing, met a guy named Jason. Jason's great. He's kind, stable, funny, the kind of guy who brings you coffee in bed and remembers your mom's birthday. We got engaged last year. His family's amazing too. Big, loud, loving. Everything I never had growing up. So when they invited us to Christmas Eve dinner this year, I was excited. I love the holidays with them. It feels like stepping into one of those Hallmark movies, you know? The big house, the decorations, the warmth. It's everything I dreamed about as a kid. We showed up around 5. Jason's mom, Linda, answered the door with this huge smile, hugging me like I was already family. The house smelled like ham and cinnamon. There were like 15 people there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, family friends. I didn't know everyone, but that was normal. They're the kind of family that adopts people. Always inviting neighbors, coworkers, random people who don't have anywhere else to go. We walked into the living room and Linda was doing introductions. Rachel, have you met Dave? He's been helping us with some repairs around the house. Fixed our deck last summer. Total lifesaver. And I turned. And there he was. I swear to God, the room tilted. Like the floor just dropped out from under me. He was older, obviously. Gray hair, more wrinkles. But it was him. I knew it was him. I don't know how I knew, but I did. Something deep in my bones just recognized him. The shape of his face, his eyes, the way he stood. My dead father, standing in my fiance's living room, shaking my hand. "Nice to meet you," he said. Smiled, warm, friendly. Didn't have a clue who I was. I couldn't breathe. I felt Jason's hand on my back, asking if I was okay, and I just nodded, smiled, said something about feeling a little lightheaded, but inside I was screaming. Dinner was a blur. I sat there, pushing food around my plate, watching him across the table. He was laughing, telling stories. Everyone loved him. Linda kept going on about how reliable he was, how he never overcharged them, how lucky they were to have found him. And I just kept thinking, this can't be real. This cannot be real. But it was. It was him. I was sure of it. I excused myself to the bathroom at one point and just stared at myself in the mirror. My hands were shaking. I felt like I was losing my mind. Like reality had just cracked open and I was falling through it. After dinner, people moved into the living room for drinks and dessert. I saw him step outside onto the back porch, alone. And I don't even remember making the decision. I just followed him. He was standing there, looking out at the yard, holding a beer. "Dave, right?" I said. He turned, smiled. "Yeah, Rachel, isn't it?" "Yeah." I stepped closer. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Have you ever lived in Ohio?" His smile faded a little, just a flicker, but I saw it. "Long time ago," he said. "Why?" "Columbus area?" He was quiet for a second. Then he nodded slowly. "Yeah, a small town outside Columbus, but that was, God, almost 30 years ago." I felt tears burning in my eyes. "Did you have a family there?" And that's when I saw it. The recognition. It hit him like a freight train. His face went white. The beer slipped out of his hand and shattered on the porch. "Rachel," he whispered. Not a question, a statement. I couldn't speak. I just stared at him. "Oh my God." He took a step back, ran his hand through his hair. "Oh my God, you're her. You're my daughter." "You're supposed to be dead," I said. My voice came out shaking, cracked. "You died. Car accident. Mom told me you died." He looked like he'd been shot. "She told you I was dead?" "Yes." Jesus Christ, he sat down hard on the porch steps, put his head in his hands. "Jesus Christ, Rachel!" I sat down next to him. I don't know why. I should have run, should have screamed, but I just sat there. "I didn't die," he said quietly. "I left, but I didn't die." "Why?" I asked. "Why did you leave?" He looked at me, and I saw tears in his eyes. Real tears. "Because your mother told me to. She said if I didn't leave, she'd make sure I never saw you again. Said she'd tell everyone I hurt her. Hurt you. Said she'd destroy me." I felt sick. "Did you? Did you hurt her?" "No." He said it so firmly, so clearly. "I swear to God, Rachel, I never laid a hand on her. Never. We fought, yeah, we had problems, but I never hurt her. I loved her. I loved you." "Then why would she say that?" "Because she wanted me gone." He wiped his eyes. "We were young, too young. I was 22 when you were born. She was 20. We were broke, struggling, fighting all the time. But I was trying. I was working 2 jobs, trying to keep us afloat. And then one day she told me she didn't love me anymore, that she wanted me to leave. I said no. I said I'd do better. I'd fix things. I wasn't leaving my daughter." He paused, took a shaky breath. "That's when she threatened me. Said if I fought her on this, she'd tell everyone I was abusive, that she'd file a restraining order, that I'd never see you again. And back then, Rachel, back then, nobody questioned the mother. If she said I was dangerous, that was it. I was done. So I left. I thought maybe if I gave her space, she'd calm down, let me see you. But she didn't. She cut me off completely, changed her number, moved. I tried to find you guys for years, but she made sure I couldn't. I couldn't process it. It was too much. So you just gave up?" "No." His voice broke. "I never gave up. I hired lawyers. I tried to file for custody. But I had no money, Rachel. I was living in my car half the time. And your mom, she had her parents helping her. They had money for lawyers. They painted me as this deadbeat, this threat. The courts sided with her. Every time. Eventually, I ran out of options. And I thought maybe you were better off without me, without all the fighting and the chaos. If you like stories like this, then like and subscribe." I sat there on that porch, and I felt like my entire life had just been rewritten. Everything I thought I knew, everything I believed, it was all a lie. "She told me you were dead," I said again, like if I said it enough times it would start to make sense. I didn't know that. He looked at me. Rachel, I swear, I didn't know she told you that. I thought maybe she told you I was a bad guy, that I abandoned you. But dead? That's evil, I finished. That's evil. He didn't argue. We sat there in silence for a long time. Inside, I could hear Jason's family laughing, singing carols. This perfect, warm, beautiful family Christmas. And out here, my entire world was collapsing. Why are you here? I asked finally. Of all the places in the world, why here? He laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. I moved to this area about 10 years ago, needed a fresh start. Started doing handyman work, met Linda and Tom through a job. They're good people. I had no idea I didn't know you were engaged to their son. I didn't know you were even in this state. Does Jason know about you? No, I never told them about my past, about having a daughter. It was too painful. I tried to move on. I felt anger rising in me then, hot and sharp. You tried to move on? I thought you were dead. I grieved for you. I spent my whole life thinking my father was some kind of monster who got what he deserved, and you were just living your life, moving on? Rachel? No. I stood up. You don't get to Rachel me. You don't get to act like this is some heartwarming reunion. You left, you gave up, you let her win. I didn't have a choice. Everyone has a choice. I was yelling now. I didn't care if anyone inside heard. You could have kept fighting. You could have found a way, but you didn't. You just disappeared. I was trying to protect you from all the ugliness, from the fighting. I thought if I stayed away, you'd have a chance at a normal life. Well, congratulations. I had a normal life built on a lie. I left him there, walked back inside. Jason found me in the hallway, asked what was wrong. I told him I wasn't feeling well. We left early. I didn't tell him the truth. Not that night. I couldn't. I couldn't even form the words. I spent the next week in a daze. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Jason kept asking what was wrong, and I kept making excuses. Stress at work, wedding planning, anything but the truth. But I knew what I had to do. I had to confront my mother. I drove to her house 3 days after Christmas. Didn't call ahead, just showed up. She was surprised to see me, happy even, made coffee, asked about the holidays, about Jason's family, and I just said it. I met Dad. She froze, coffee mug halfway to her lips. What? I met him, at Jason's parents' house. He's alive, Mom. He's not dead. The mug slipped from her hands, shattered on the kitchen floor, but she didn't move, just stared at me. You told me he died, I said. My voice was shaking. You told me he was dead. You let me believe that for almost 30 years. Rachel, is it true what he told me? That you threatened him? That you made him leave? She didn't answer right away, and in that silence, I knew it was true. You don't understand, she said, finally, quietly. Then make me understand. She sat down, hard, like her legs just gave out. I was 20 years old, Rachel. 20, with a baby, and I was drowning. Your father, he was a good man. I'm not saying he wasn't, but he was lost. We were both lost. We were kids trying to play house, and it wasn't working. I was miserable. So, you told him to leave. I told him we needed space, that we needed to figure things out, but he wouldn't listen. He kept saying he'd fix it, he'd change, but nothing ever changed. We were still broke, still fighting, still trapped. And I snapped. I told him if he didn't leave, I'd make sure he regretted it. By lying about him being abusive? She flinched. I never actually said he hit me. I let people assume. And yeah, I threatened to say it if he fought me on leaving. I was desperate, Rachel. I didn't know what else to do. So you took my father away from me, I said. You took him away, and then you told me he was dead. How could you do that? Because it was easier. She looked at me, and there were tears streaming down her face. It was easier than explaining why he left. Easier than you growing up asking about him, wanting to see him. I thought if you believed he was gone, you could move on. We could both move on. That wasn't your choice to make. I was your mother. It was my job to protect you. From what? From having a father who loved me? From the chaos, she screamed. From the fighting and the confusion and the pain. I gave you stability, Rachel. I gave you a life. Maybe it wasn't perfect, but it was better than the alternative. I stared at her, this woman who raised me, who I thought I knew, and I realized I didn't know her at all. You're not the person I thought you were, I said. Rachel, please. No. I backed toward the door. I can't do this right now. I can't look at you. Don't leave like this. But I did. I walked out, got in my car, and I cried harder than I've ever cried in my life. That was 3 months ago. I've seen my dad a few times since then. We meet for coffee, talk. It's awkward and painful and strange, but we're trying. He's not the villain my mom painted him as, but he's not some perfect hero either. He's just a guy who made mistakes, who gave up when maybe he shouldn't have, who lost his daughter and spent 30 years regretting it. My mom and I aren't speaking. Not really. She's tried to reach out, left voicemails, sent texts, but I can't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I don't know. Jason knows everything now. I told him a week after Christmas. He was shocked, supportive, amazing. His parents were horrified when they found out. They felt terrible, like they'd somehow caused this. But they didn't. None of this is their fault. The wedding's postponed. Not canceled, just postponed. I told Jason I need time to process all of this before I can think about starting a new family. He understood. He's been incredibly patient. But here's the thing I keep coming back to. I don't know who to be angry at. My mom lied to me. That's unforgivable. She stole my father from me. She rewrote my history to make herself the hero and him the villain. That's cruel. That's manipulative. That's wrong. But she also raised me. Alone. She worked herself to the bone to give me a life. She was there for every scraped knee, every bad dream, every milestone. She loved me. I know she loved me. And my dad? He left. Yeah, he was backed into a corner. Yeah, my mom made it impossible. But he still left. He stopped fighting. He let me grow up thinking he was dead. And yeah, he tried at first, but eventually he gave up. So who's the villain here? Who do I blame? Or is it just life? Messy, complicated, unfair life where everyone's doing their best and everyone's screwing up and nobody's entirely right or entirely wrong. I don't have an answer. I wish I did. I wish I could tie this up in a neat little bow and tell you I've forgiven everyone and we're all one big happy family now. But that's not how life works. The truth is, I'm still angry at both of them. I'm angry at my mom for lying. I'm angry at my dad for giving up. I'm angry at the universe for putting me in this impossible situation where I have to choose between the woman who raised me and the man who wanted to. And underneath the anger, there's grief. So much grief. For the father I never got to know, for the childhood I could have had, for the version of myself that existed before Christmas Eve, the girl who thought she understood her own story. That girl's gone now, and I don't know who I am anymore. I'm trying to figure it out, one day at a time, one conversation with my dad at a time, one ignored voicemail from my mom at a time. Maybe someday I'll forgive them, both of them. Maybe someday this will all make sense and I'll understand why things happened the way they did. But right now, I'm just trying to breathe. Trying to get through the day without feeling like my entire foundation has crumbled. Because that's what it feels like. Like I've been standing on sand this whole time, thinking it was concrete, and one Christmas dinner just washed it all away. Be honest, if you were in my place, would you still trust family after that? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to know what you do. And if the story hit you even a little, don't just scroll. Hit that like button and subscribe, because every story here isn't just a story. It's a reflection of someone's truth. Maybe even yours.